All right, everybody. How many of you are out there? I wonder if it. Are we live? Hope we're live. Is audio good? Are you guys able to hear me? Just an audio test here. Are you guys able to hear me? Hey, everybody. All right. All right. So I guess you guys are able to hear me. Awesome. 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 Perfect. Perfect. Well, thank you all so much for being here. I figured I would do an impromptu live stream, time allowed. So figured let me talk to some of the people who might have not made it to the rally and then share experiences with those who were there but also maybe didn't spend the entire time there. So there's already a whole lot of commotion going on social media with the left wanting to downplay what happened yesterday, how many people showed up, and they're quabbling about the exact numbers and what's happening. The biggest thing is they're comparing yesterday's rally, which was pro-independence, pro-Alberta independence, with a protest which took place a few days prior, a teachers union protest. That's the biggest thing. They're already comparing the two. And I mean, I partially understand kind of what they're doing there and where they're coming from, because unions in Canada, anyone who lives in Canada, anyone who knows, unionized labor in Canada tends to be pro-liberal, pro-NDP, which is basically liberal on steroids out here in Alberta. So let me show you guys an article that it's already been put out by the left. Let me show you guys this here. This article here, all right, let me show you guys this way. This is from albertapolitics.ca. So they go, if size really matters, defending public education definitely gets out a bigger crowd than Alberta separation. So this is the argument that they're trying to make. They're trying to say that, you know what, the rally wasn't even that big, and the people who are the opposite, in their opinion, opposite of Alberta independence, the people who want to stay in Canada, which I guess the teachers union is all for staying in Canada. So there's an assumption right there. That's one of the assumptions. And then it's not apples to apples. It's just not apples to apples. The comparison is not apples to apples. Why? Because one is a labor dispute. It's literally people wanting to get paid more. It's something to do with their job. People are literally paid to be there, or they're there for their pay. It's also organized. This is the Alberta Independence rally was a grassroots rally. Grassroots in what sense? Well, it's not politically, there's no politician leading it. It's all volunteers and regular people like yourself and I who are participating in this. So I wrote a few points here, but let's first read the article. Just check their argument here. So again, they're comparing the sizes of the two crowds. The teachers union protest in front of the Alberta legislature a few days prior with Alberta independence rally, which happened yesterday. It says here, things may not be copacetic in rural Alberta just now, but entrepreneurial spirit is still alive if blue flags are any measure. Okay, and this was written today. Okay, so that's a picture from yesterday's rally. If the Alberta Prosperity Project hoped to hold the largest public protest in Alberta history yesterday, as some organizers of the independent rally that took place in front of the legislature building in Edmonton boasted on social media last week, they came up short. Well, for one, it wasn't a protest. This is a statement of independence. It wasn't a protest. We're not protesting anything as much as we're declaring that we want to be independent. So that right there is already wrong. The turnout at the late afternoon separatist rally was clearly smaller than last Thursday's huge demonstration of support of Alberta striking school teachers. Striking school teachers. How is that the antithetic? How is that the opposite of Alberta independence? A labor union. How is a labor union the opposite of people who want to separate from Canada to obtain their freedom? How? You know, it's not like you're saying, oh, it's the pro-Alberta people and then the pro-staying in Canada people are the ones who showed up. There is a forever Canadian movement. Was it them who held the protest last Thursday? Or was it a teachers' union? But I did tell you guys prior that I understand why they're using the teachers' union as a win for the left. Because anyone who lives in Alberta or North America, because I think this is across North America, knows that teachers nowadays, it's not every teacher, but teachers nowadays have become very woke. A lot of them are left-leaning, which is why most conservative parents are now homeschooling their children. Homeschooling is skyrocketing, you know, and people putting their kids in Catholic school as opposed to public schools because teachers have become woke activists. Any parent in Alberta, any parent in Canada, any parent in North America will know that teachers are now, this is what they're doing. They're indoctrinating children. So a big percentage of the crowd for the teachers' protest was left-leaning. You should just see, you guys, I'm not even going to go there, but you guys should just go see the footage that was taken. These people were wearing crazy stuff. Some of them has literal satanic signs saying something about Satan and worshiping Satan and all that kind of stuff. And then the rainbow flag all over. And these are the people teaching your children at the schools. So let's say 80 to 90%, maybe even more of these people are left-leaning, of course. But the call to action wasn't, we are going to fight to keep Canada together. That wasn't it. It wasn't the forever Canadian people who showed up for the teachers' union. It was the union and the union bosses. The union bosses. Those were the people who showed up. So let's continue reading the article here. Says, still at its height, APP's demonstrations Saturday, nevertheless, attracted a significant crowd. No shit. I mean, the sheriffs were estimating it in 20,000, but I mean, you know, let's say. So a tip of the blue independence ball cap to the organizers, I guess. So you already know, you guys can already tell the author's lenience, where he's leaning to. You can already tell he's leaning left. But let's keep reading here. So he then compares, he takes a photo, which was completely out of context, by the way, because he took this photo at the height. This is the photo of the teachers' union. This is the teachers' union protesting. For those of you south of the border or who live in different provinces, the teachers are on strike here in Alberta because they want more money. Even though they're already paid the most in Western Canada, they want more money. And the government is holding their ground. They're like, we're already offering you a good deal, but they want even more money, okay? So this is the teachers' union right here. You guys can see it on the screen. This is the Alberta rally for independence. But you know what? This right here was revealed to me by one of the attendees, the drone operator, the person who was operating the drone for the APP, for the Alberta Prosperity Project, that this was taken way earlier, before several buses had showed up, before more people have showed up. When I got there personally, there were people all the way up to here and past here. And I'm going to show you guys video evidence in a moment here. There were people past here, way past here. There were people over here in the green areas. There were people up here, all in there in that wooded area and under those trees. There were people. This entire thing was full of people. And there's drone footage to prove it. So already you can tell there's ill intent in this article, which I can already tell is probably some leftist activists who wrote it. But I figured I would read it to show you guys the argument that they're making, which is to say, well, the teachers were the opposite of Alberta independence. So no, I've met teachers who are pro Alberta independence. I've met teachers who are conservative leaning. But then again, I also live in the countryside. I don't live in Edmonton, which is the most left leaning city in all of Alberta. That's another factor that we have to consider. This happened in downtown Edmonton. Anyone who knows Alberta knows that Edmonton is the most left-leaning city in all of Canada. It's woke town out there, very left-leaning. So it's not apples to apples. So let's keep reading here. What else he says? Thursday's protest, while focused on the United Conservative Party underfunding, that's the governing party, underfunding of education and refusal to budge in negotiations with the striking Alberta Teachers Association members, also had plenty of evidence of Canadian patriotism. Yeah, one or two people with a Canadian flag. Again, let's go here. Where are all the Canadian flags? Show me the Canadian flags and people protesting because they want to stay in Canada. No, they're protesting because they want more money. They're protesting because they want to be promoted to principal and vice principal. You got to remember, guys, if you want to go up in a union, you got to play by the union rules, okay? I'm going to talk about that later on in the video. Plenty of evidence of Canadian patriotism with many maple leaf flags. Okay, so let's go back to the picture. I'm going to keep going back to the picture they're using as an example. Where are the maple leaves? There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 maple leaves or so. Most of what I see is orange signs, which tells me NDP again, the woke leftist party in Alberta, the left radical party in Alberta, which is orange NDP, right? Where are all the maple leaves flying? Because I can tell you, I was at the rally yesterday, and it was a sea of blue. It was a sea of this right here, an ocean of blue. Like all you saw was blue. Even in this picture, which they purposefully picked, you can see the blue. Like, just look, guys. I'm going to zoom in a little bit there if I can. I guess I can't. But you can see, and I'm going to show you more footage in a moment. Every single group that was there had a flag or two. But, you know, anyway, with maple leaf flags, plentiful petition gathers for the Forever Canadian campaign and homemade signs condemning the UCP's focus on fighting with the federal government. Most participants dressed in red. I don't see a whole lot of red. I see orange. I mean, I'm going to wear my glasses too. I still see orange. Still orange, right? Still orange. What I see the most is orange there. That's what I see. So these people are full of it. They're trying to put this when it's not apples to apples. The comparison is not fair. And I have multiple reasons why. I wrote a few of them. I was going to put a tweet out as to why this is a completely unfair comparison. And their downplaying of yesterday's rally is just another sign of them panicking and being worried about Alberta independence, which they better be. They better be worried. The fact that we showed up en masse, over 10,000 people, to Alberta's left-leaning city, Edmonton, on relatively short notice, because the teachers have been planning this stuff for months. They were planning that. Alberta independence, that rally was planned for two weeks. And the machinery behind the teachers union, not just the union itself, but the NDP, the left-leaning party, the opposition in Alberta, is 100% backing this. So it's not just teachers you're seeing in this picture here. You're not just seeing teachers. You're seeing a heck of a lot of activists. Heck, there were Antifa thugs present at the Alberta Teachers Union protest. So how is that grassroots? Explain to me how Antifa is grassroots when we all know who they're paid for, who pays their checks. These are professional activists who are all paid to be professional freaking protesters. They do nothing else. You and I, we both have jobs. I had to take time out of my delivery work, out of my transportation work. I had to be in northern Alberta, actually. And I had to take time out of my day to be able to show up because it was too important for me to miss. And you know the amount of people whose hands I shook told me, hey man, I came out. I had work today, but I came out for my family, for my kids' future. Countless people. And by the way, I appreciate each and every person who showed up and came and shook my hand. It filled my heart, man. It motivated me. It put a fire, and I'm gonna work twice as hard for Alberta independence now. Heck, if I have to gather signatures myself, I'm gonna freaking do it, and I'm gonna live stream it. Mark my words. So these are people, you can't compare the same. You have a bunch of teachers who are now unemployed, right? Because they want more money, right? And then you have the union telling them what to do. And then you have a bunch of the left-leaning, the left-leaning party getting involved as a conglomerate. Then you even had Antifa and then you have the forever Canadian leeches getting in there to say, hey, look at us, look at our group. That's not your group. That's like 5 groups put together, a bunch of them with financial motivations. I had no financial motivation to be there. I just care about Alberta. That's it. That's all it is for me. I could have been freaking driving. I could have been driving for a living, which is what I do. But no, I wanted to be there. Okay? So anyways, so it's just not apples to apples. Here's a couple points that I wrote down. I was going to put that on a tweet, but I figured I would share it with you guys first and maybe put it as a clip. So how is it not apples to apples? Well, you got union versus grassroots. Grassroots, it's not as organized. There's no profit there. Union, there is. It's a union. Anybody who's been a part of a union knows. Union bosses, the whole organization, the hierarchy, right? Then you have the protection of jobs. When people know that their job is on the line, right? It's your job. You haven't worked in 3 weeks and you haven't gotten paid in the same amount of weeks, and you want to go back to work, but you want more money, you want a salary. That's a bigger motivation. Let's just be honest here. It's a financial motivation, right? So it's just, again, not apples to apples. It was also, like I said before, endorsed by a political party. The Alberta NDP, which is the left-leaning party, the wokest party in all of Alberta, endorsed the Alberta Teachers Union. And they sent a bunch of their activists to be there to make a statement because for them, this is a political move. They're trying to unseat, dethrone, remove Danielle Smith from power, right? Then you have the fact that Alberta independence is not endorsed by any political party. People will say, well, Danielle Smith supports it. She's playing the middle. Anyone who's watched my channel long enough knows that Danielle Smith isn't 100% behind the independence movement. She's playing the middle. Sometimes she does certain things that we're like, well, heck yeah, let's go. But then other times she says, you know what, I'm going to do everything in my power so that Alberta independence doesn't happen, which she said that. You can go and look it up. So we're not endorsed by any party. We don't have a party machine behind us. So that's another one. Then you have the fact that when you're in a union environment, in a unionized environment, you have threats. There are threats, and not necessarily like threats of violence, but like you're a teacher and you want to make vice principal in your school board or at your school. You want to make principal. You want to make principal assistant, something like that. You want to get promoted, right? You have that professional motivation or that professional threat of like, yo, if you don't participate, if you don't show up to the rally, right, to the protest, you're not going to be seen there, and you're not, you know what I mean? Like, you are basically coerced, I think is the word, manipulated to support, to show up, even if you don't want to. Then you have, again, Edmonton downtown versus, let's say, Calgary, which is more conservative, or even Red Deer, or in the countryside, take Lloydminster, right at the border between Alberta and Saskatchewan. No, we came to to the Dragon Slayer in downtown Edmonton, which is a very liberal city. This is where we had over 10,000 people in downtown Edmonton. Then again, you have, like I said, blue collar versus activists, people like myself who have jobs, We got to go to work every day. I do this part-time, this YouTube thing. I got a job to go to. And most people that I met, they have jobs. Blue-collar people versus activists who are literally professional activists. They're paid to be, to do protests and create disorder. And then if they want to talk numbers, if they want to talk about the biggest demonstration in Canadian history, not in Alberta history, in Canadian history, you know which one that was? If you guys can take a guess in the chat. Which was the biggest demonstration in Canadian history? You guys, if you guys can put it on the chat, I'll really appreciate it. I'm going to give you guys a second. Take a guess. Which one was the biggest civil rights protest demonstration in Canadian history? Please, let me know. Let me bring the chat in there. I can already see several people saying it. Bingo. The Freedom Convoy. The Freedom freaking Convoy. The trucker convoy was the biggest protest in Canadian history. One of the biggest civil rights protests in the world. I get goosebumps talking about it. I participated in that. I was one of the few that got lucky that I didn't get repercussions because I probably didn't participate as much as I could have. But yeah, biggest protest ever. And they're still paying for it. They're still being politically persecuted. Heck, one of the truckers, one of the main guys, is a refugee in the United States. He's seeking refuge, asking the Trump administration to give him refuge because they're trying to arrest him here. Tamara and Chris Barber are both on house arrest for years, and they ruined their lives because they were protesting. And what was the political leaning of the Freedom Convoy? What were most people that were there? They were libertarian, conservative, pro-freedom people. Most of us were pro-freedom. So if you want to talk about the biggest protest and you want to brag about the numbers, the biggest protest in Canadian history was a conservative libertarian effort, pro-freedom. I rest my case. Okay, so let's go to Twitter. Let's look at several tweets here that okay, so here we go. So this is from Mocha Bezirgan. If I'm messing up your name, man, I'm sorry. He does amazing work. This guy does amazing work. Give him a follow if you guys can. Anyway, here's one of the videos here. He did a summarized. Okay, let me show you guys the video here. It's freaking awesome. Oh, the chat is covering my face, I guess. Let me hold on a second there. There we go. This is live, guys. Just a second. Let me just move myself a little bit higher up. Get the chat in there. Excuse me. There we go. There we go. Now I'm not blocking the chat anymore. All right. Check this out, guys. Check this out.
Freedom! 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 So, I'm going to ask you a question and then you can tell me if you want to go or not. Is the federal government stealing from us? Yeah. Are they sabotaging our industry? Yeah. Are they taking us down the path to communism? Yeah. Are they censoring us? Yeah. Are they stealing our guns from us?
Yeah. Look at that sea of blue. Look at the flags.
Thank you very much.
Amazing. Look at all those flags.
Today, going forward, should be known October 25th as Alberta Independence Day.
Yes, sir. It wasn't a protest. I told you guys, this was not a protest. This was a declaration of independence. This is Albertans declaring that we're going to fight for our independence for as long as it takes and as hard as it takes. Look at this. You guys see the flags? I just showed you the picture of the teachers union. I didn't see many maple leaves. This is a sea of blue. And there's even a Gaxton flag back there. Don't tread on me. Amazing.
The future is ours.
You've heard how wonderful and prosperous and beautiful this country of Alberta is. Yeah! Will be. want that? Sorry, did they answer? Did anybody hear anything? I didn't hear anything. Do you want that? Are you going to do the work?
It's a motivated crowd. There's the opposite side. See, this is what I'm talking about, guys. Antifa thugs and activists. Antifa. So this is the Forever Canada people. And like 12 of them showed up. One Antifa thug, because of course that's their people, right? Antifa is their people. This one guy showed up from Antifa, malnourished and stuff, thinking he's gonna intimidate anybody. And then a couple of the other people, the furry people or whatever, and then a couple of the Forever Canadian, and still no maple leaf. Where's the maple leaf? Where's the pride? I stand for that. Okay.
They sold us all out. They sold me out. They sold you.
There's one flag right there. There's one guy, poor guy. You should be on our side, man. Because they've stole your youth, man. I mean, they've stole your opportunity and your youth when they took 2 to 3 years out of your life with the whole virus thing. And now you can't even afford a house. You can't even get a job in your own country. You can't, like, if you say the wrong thing, you might go to jail. You should be on this side, man. But anyway, he's wearing a maple leaf. Other than him, I don't see any other maple leaves.
All of us have been sold out.
Okay.
You're right to be mad, but you're mad at the wrong
First
people.
Nations lady.
We don't need to indoctrinate over political bullshit at our kids. All that's got to go.
That guy let him have it. We don't need the indoctrination of our kids. And then you had that native Canadian lady, which she should also be on our side because Canada has never treated First Nations in Canada with respect or with dignity. There are still First Nations up here in Canada who have boiled water advisories, like they don't have drinking water. So how can you, as a First Nation person, support the system that has had the knee on your people's neck for hundreds of years? How can you support the Crown? An independent Alberta would treat them much better, because we can build from the very beginning as equals, as it should have always been. Okay, so here's a tweet from Jeffrey Rath. He's one of the founders of the Alberta Prosperity Project. Had a great speech yesterday. So he went and asked Grok, which is basically artificial intelligence computer, about an estimation of the amount of people. So I guess that picture is not very big, is it? I guess it's a screenshot. Anyway, so he says here, breaking, over 12,000 Albertans came to tell Alberta Danielle Smith to start preparing to leave Canada, hashtag I am Alberta. And see, the picture from the article that I showed you guys earlier cut around here. It was right around here. And it also didn't show the people that were up in the green areas where the trees are. So it showed basically half of the amount of people who actually ended up showing up. But anyways, Jeffrey Rath asked AI to tell him a count based on the picture that he provided. And this is what it said. I'm going to read for you guys if you guys can't see it. It says, top left, dense cluster behind the white barrier. Let me get my glasses, a bit small there. About 1,800 people, the AI estimates. Top center, open area, about 900 people, short of 1,000 there. Top right, dense cluster, near building, 1,600 people. Middle left, dense pack, dark clothing, high overlap, 2,100 people. Middle center, open path, and flag area. Yeah, that area is not very dense, so 700 people. Sparser, easier to see, yeah. Bottom half, entire lower section. Left side, that was the thickest, 2,400. Center path, 600. Right side, very thick there too, 2,800. For a subtotal bottom of 5,800. And if you put all of that together, you're looking at around 12,000 people if you add up all the numbers. So that was one of the estimations from Grok that Jeffrey Rath put up. Because again, they're trying to underestimate the numbers. And then besides the fact that they're trying to underestimate the numbers, they're also coming up with comparisons that are oranges and apples. Literal oranges and apples, pun intended, because you got the NDP activists and the Alberta Teachers Union. There's like 4 groups put together versus the pro Independence Alberta Patriots, which is one group, people like you and I. That's it. We're not sponsored by anyone. We don't have any political backing. It's grassroots. It's us. It's YouTubers like myself and others and the people coming out. The UCP doesn't support us directly or anything, or even indirectly. So it's just not a fair comparison. Here's another picture of the beautiful sea of blue. This is not going back in the box. It's out of the box, man. It's not going back in. Look at that beautiful picture. So many blue flags. It's gorgeous. Beautiful. And it's not going back in the box. Okay, so here's another video. This one shows, again, a different angle of the turnout, the amount of people who showed up. Let's watch. So again, let's look at the crowd. This is what we're going to talk about all day today, guys. I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to destroy their claim today. You see behind the trees, because this is a treat area. It's a rectangle, right? But then there's the treat area, and there were people in the trees. When I came in through the trees, because you couldn't come in this way. It was way too thick with people. And I came in through the trees, and it was full of people. There were old ladies in there, which was so heartwarming. All ladies in their wheelchairs. There were older people who brought their freaking camping chairs and stuff, and they were sitting there with their flags. Incredible, so inspiring. I'm so pumped right now. But you guys can see there, if you guys look at the cursor, the mouse there, all the way back there were people. There's a giant Alberta flag. So in the article picture that I showed you earlier, they caught it right around here. They cut it, just this front area. And you're like, oh, tip of the blue hat to you, and blah, blah, blah. The condescending tone from the activists who wrote that article. But it goes all the way back there, all the way to the bridge, guys. And then there's people on top of the bridge. You can see it. You can't make this video up. It's a real video. This is not an AI photo or a photo that they took before the majority of people showed up conveniently. No, this is the real deal right here. This is gold. This is freaking gold. Cat's out of the bag. So here's another tweet from Jeffrey Rath. A tale of two rallies. So you have the Independence Patriots here. That's their rally. And this is the Forever Canada people. If you guys can see them, it's probably better to leave it this way. Look at that. That's the people who showed up. You got one or two maple leaves. And you have a First Nations flag. And two or three people in some Antifa dude. That's who showed up for the other side. So don't let them tell you this is the opposite here. This is the opposite. This is the turnout for the actual opposite, which is the people who want Alberta to stay a part of Canada. The teachers' union isn't Alberta's opponent, Alberta independence opponent. They aren't. You know who is? The Forever Canada people. Forever Canada. That's who is the opposite. We got another tweet here. So you have Jason Levine saying, it's reported that the Alberta sheriffs estimated, so this is from the authorities that were on the ground, law enforcement, estimated there were 20,000 people present at the Alberta legislature for the Alberta Prosperity Project Independence Rally. In addition, the Unacceptable Fringe live stream had 8.8K. Good job, dude. 8.8K viewers, and the Freedom Calendar live stream had 2.5. What way to go, Max. Well done. And say, well done, everyone. Yeah, there were 10,000 people watching, however many I had. And then you had 20,000 people, according to law enforcement, who were present at the rally. This is not people that are partial to either side. This is law enforcement. The Alberta sheriffs were present. If you look at my live stream, they were present. They were all over the grounds. They were walking in between the crowds. And they also were tasked to keep a tally of the amount of people to deploy resources as necessary. Anybody who's worked in law enforcement or has any idea how law enforcement works, they need to know how big the crowd is so that they can keep control of things, right? They estimated 20,000 people. I didn't even know there were that many people. I mean, I was in the thick of it, right? From where I was, I thought, man, this might be scratching 10,000, which even 10,000 is an incredible, unbelievable turnout. Unbelievable turnout. But the sheriffs are saying there were 20,000. So I'll take it. I'm going to take it and run with it. Okay. And then I know there was another chat right behind that. And this is Alberta Secession Why. At 10 others who couldn't make it for everyone that did. Still short of the 1.5 million yes votes that we need. Yes, even many of you watching told me, hey, man, I'm working that day. Hey, man, I'm moving that day. Hey, man, I'm literally out of province. I'm out of country. I read countless comments, and I remember replying to some of you going like, hey, man, if you can make it, please do. We need to make a statement. This is our future, the future of your children, if you have children. If you're young, it's your future. If you're older, it's your grandchildren's future. And if you're North American, it's North America's future. Like, these people are trying to destroy, the Liberal government is pushing Canada closer to China to spite the United States. This is happening every day. I don't know if you guys watch my latest report on what's happening in Canada with Chinese operating bases. This is literal. You have lawmakers talking about a report of a Chinese Communist Party base out in Prince Edward Island, just north of Maine, just north of the state of Maine, for those of you south of the border. And this is what they're doing. And recently, the Foreign Affairs Minister, the equivalent of a Secretary of State, said that Canada is going to be developing a strategic partnership with China. What does that even mean? What the heck does a strategic partnership between Canada, what does a strategic partnership between Canada and China even mean when China is the biggest adversary of NATO, the biggest adversary of the G7, and the biggest adversary of our so-called closest ally, because Canada's government is not behaving like they're the closest ally of the United States anymore. They're behaving like they're an enemy of the United States, particularly when they put ads, attack ads, on the government that they're trying to negotiate with. In what world does that make any sense, guys? You're trying to negotiate with the Trump administration to come up with a deal where your country can do better economically and financially, and you're paying for attack ads? You know what I think? I think they don't want to get a deal. That's what I think. The European Union wanted a deal, they got one. Japan wanted a deal, they got one. Australia wanted a deal, they recently got one. Canada doesn't want to deal with the United States. Not while the Liberals are in power. Canada's becoming hostile towards the United States. Proof is in the pudding. Just look at how they're behaving. Don't take their word for it. Take their actions for it. They're becoming increasingly hostile towards the United States. So, again, you got a government that is becoming closer and closer to China while walking away from the United States. What does North America look like? If we and then you have the policies that they're trying to impose on laws, Bill C2 and all the other bills that will censor your speech, take away your guns, put you in jail for saying the wrong things online, just like they're doing in the UK. So what are we moving towards? What are we moving towards in North America, north of the 49th parallel? We're moving towards China, towards totalitarian communist control. That's what we're moving towards. And Alberta and Saskatchewan, Alberta has to lead, but Alberta and Saskatchewan have a chance at getting out of this mess. We have a shot at getting out of this mess. Okay, so let's check. Let's tweet here. Okay, so this right here is a tweet by Sheila Goen Reid from Rebel News. She says, maybe 8 counter-protesters have shown up at the independence rally at the Edmonton legislature with their standard handmade LARPer and one malnourished Antifa. Being protected by a dozen cops. Okay, we're going to read some chats in a moment. I noticed that someone sent a super chat there. Thank you so much. I'll read the chat in a second here. Let's quickly take a look at this video here. This is from Sheila Goen Reid, Rebel News. This is the other side, the other people. Like 10 people there.
Think about the benefits. Think about the sovereignty that you have as an individual. Not going to get sovereignty from the provincial perspective. Remember when
Literally, it's like 2 or 3 people. I stand for a united Canada. Sure, a united Canada that continues to screw Alberta and Saskatchewan at every single chance they get. This is the chance that Alberta and Saskatchewan have. We have I've said it before on my channel, we have an ally in the White House, but we don't know how long he'll be there. I mean, Trump is getting up there in age. He's older. And he also can't reelect himself, at least as far as we know. I don't know. We don't know. But we have a natural ally at the White House, nevertheless, and we should take advantage of this time. Anyway, let me read this super chat here. Alberta Rain, met you yesterday at the rally, PJ. Thanks for all your hard work and taking time to show everyone the lives and information. Thank you. Thank you for coming out. I appreciate each and every one of you who came out and shook my hand. It was incredible, man. I mean, it was so heartwarming, particularly when I saw the older people. Literally, I saw disabled old ladies in their little disability scooters, mobility scooters, and I saw a lady in a wheelchair. I saw this grandma. She looked like she was at least 80 years old. She had a freaking Alberta flag attached. I have a picture of it. I'm going to put it on my Twitter. Attached to the handlebar of her wheelchair, an Alberta flag. And she was there on her wheelchair. What excuse do I have to not show up when that old lady showed up? I was like, man, I got to show up to all of these. There's no way. I literally told the lady, ma'am, thank you so much for coming out. I better show up to all of this when I see an older lady on her wheelchair. If anybody has a valid excuse, if anyone has an excuse that can't be argued, is an older lady on a wheelchair. She could have stayed home. Nobody was going to hold that against her. She could have stayed home, but she came out. She came out, and that was incredibly inspiring. Thank to each and every one of you who came out. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to try to read a few comments here. By the way, guys, if you do me a quick favor, if you guys like this live streams here, I'm going to try to take time out of work on Sundays. I'm going to have some time off like today. Go to church in the mornings, but in the afternoon, I'm going to try to do these things. If you guys like this, around 4 p.m., doing a live stream between 4 and 5, I'm going to keep it short and sweet, just an hour, 1 hour. Type yes in the comments now. If you have a different day, please suggest it to me. I'll read it. But if you guys like this right here, I'll do it on Sundays at 4 p.m. I'll do a live stream like this, basically catching you guys up as to what's going on with WEXIT, Alberta Independence, Saskatchewan Independence. I'm going to try to make a trip to Saskatchewan, see what's going on with the movement over there, talk to some people, and basically update you guys. Let me know, yes, or tell me a different day if you guys think that maybe, I don't know. I don't want to be on when anybody else is on. I don't want to compete. I'm not petty like that. I want to be on only, a specific time that works for you guys. Okay, I see a lot of yeses. So Sunday at 4 p.m. it is. I don't know what to call it. You guys leave a comment telling me what to call it, what to call the live stream. I don't know. We'll call it something cool. The WEXIT something. I don't know. Or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, guys, go ahead. We got 5-10 minutes. Ask me any questions, and I'll pick a few. I'll get the moderator to pick a few. and send them to me on my phone. Just ask your questions, any questions. I spoke with some of the people some of the leadership for the Alberta Prosperity Project yesterday. I was going to do an interview, but the audio was terrible. My audio was bad, so I'm going to bring him on a live on a Sunday. So you guys got any questions or any comments, anything, let me know. Okay, so we got some questions here. Let's see. Hold on just a second here. Okay, so I have one from Jeannie. It was earlier. PJ, I have a question for everyone. How many people think that younger adults need to start showing if they want a prosperous future and start rising up for the freedom? I literally talked about this on this live. People my age and younger need to show up. When you have, again, old ladies on a wheelchair showing up with an Alberta flag, proud, I have no excuse as someone in my 30s. You watching in your 20s, you have no excuse. You watching, even in your teens, you have no excuse. Buddy, they're stealing your future. They're taking your future. We cannot afford a house in this country anymore. You cannot get a job in your own town. In your own town, you can't get a job. They're hiring immigrants from other countries who aren't even legal. Okay? So you better show up. Okay, let's get another question here. Thanks for your question, by the way. All right, another question here. I heard Forever Canada had a rally in Canada, in Calgary. Any numbers for that one? I don't care, man. I don't keep up with what they do. I only talk about them when it's inevitable. Like when they're like there's an article that has to do with Alberta independence and they bring up. I don't care what Thomas is doing. I don't give a damn. Okay, Lewis Cromwell. So how do we get more? Like I said, this is so hard to talk to people about. My best friends are all on board with this. Crazy. Dude, be brave. I spoke with someone at the gym the other day, which was kind of awkward. And it ended up being that this guy actually agreed with me. I was like, hey, man, have you because he saw my hat. I wear this stuff all the time, and I wear Alberta Independence, too, like literally Alberta Independence on my chest. And he's like, hey, man, I thought he was going to, argue with me or something. And I'm like, hey, man, I support Alberta Independence. I support Alberta separating from Canada. Like, he asked me some questions. Like, I agree with that. And we ended up freaking agreeing. And I didn't tell him I had a YouTube channel, but I told him to go to the AlbertaProsperityProject.com. He probably found me already. Maybe. I don't know. Okay, let's see. Any other questions? Okay. Haven't heard much about Saskatchewan lately. Are they still interested in independence? The thing with Saskatchewan that's tricky is that their movement is not as loud. Saskatchewan, I think, historically has always kind of followed Alberta. Alberta has to lead, but there is definitely, because Saskatchewan the people of Saskatchewan have a lot of common sense. It's a lot of common sense in Saskatchewan, man. They're awesome. There are brothers and sisters over there. Literally, the only ally Alberta has in all of Canada because obviously south of the border, we got a ton of allies. But in Canada, Saskatchewan, that's our biggest ally in Canada. And the movement over there is quieter. We have to motivate them more. Alberta has to lead. And I'm going to investigate further into what's going on over there. Max from Freedom Calendar. Check out Max from Freedom Calendar. Fairly certain he's traveling to Saskatchewan, right away. Check him out on YouTube. Okay, one more question. Let's check out one more question here. Okay. Shoot. Lynn, the Sunday Toss-Up. I like that name. I might call it that. Shoot. Elizabeth Madison, thank you so much for being there, PJ. We need this. Yes, Sask. Yeah, we got to get Sask in here. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. I appreciate you. You're awesome. Thank you so much. Another question. Shoot, I'm trying to see the question. I see a lot of comments, but not a question here. Trying to answer the questions first. I appreciate each and every comment of support. Each and every one of you. Thank you guys so much. I'll answer a lot of those in the comments when I have time. Okay, I'll go in 1 minute if I don't see another question. Okay, so I see Tim Allen, APP. Oh, let's see. Tim Allen. Did I lose Tim Allen? Where are you? There we go. APP should forward a formal invitation to Premier Smith for the next rally. Yeah, honestly, man, they should. Jeffrey Rath has been tagging her in every single one of his tweets. They're putting a lot of pressure on her. By the way, all of you who are in Alberta, get a membership to the UCP like I did. Get a membership to the UCP. We need to put a lot of pressure on this government. And how do we do it? By having a vote. We don't have a vote if we're not there. If we're not at the table, we're on the menu, right? We got to be at the table. I went and got myself a UCP membership. You get yourself one so that you actually get a vote. And that's when she's going to have to listen. And she's going to, the courts are playing games with the referendum. Then she can just bring one up herself. All right? Okay, guys, it's been PJ. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you so much for tuning in on such a short notice. I love you all. God bless you all. Go to church next Sunday, by the way. See you all next Sunday. Bye.